Hello, welcome to Totally Random Horror Reviews. I'm Tom. In this series, I randomly select horror films between the years of 1895 and 1989 and review them. For my 16th episode, we travel to the UK in 1985, where we find the most independent short film ever. Today, I randomly selected Brian Davies' The Vacancy. The idea to include this film came from the IMDb horror movie lists. The Vacancy was shot in the UK and released sometime in 1985. The film was produced by Vidius Films. It is directed by Brian Davies. It is color, not rated, and has a runtime of 29 minutes. Director Brian Davies of North Wales in the UK founded the production company Vidius Films in 1983. You can read about the history of Vidius Films on their website, but the TLDR is that Brian Davies, inspired by 1983's The Evil Dead, bought an analog VHS video camera and began shooting at a Lipton supermarket in Holyhead, Anglesey. Brian Davies would go on to direct more indie films, horror, and suspense until he passed away in 2019. The actors in The Vacancy seem to all be amateur or inexperienced, so they haven't been in anything else you've ever heard of except Vidius Films releases. A quick rundown of the players. We have Peter Preston as Castle, Helen Davies, or listed on the webpage as Helen Williams, as Jenny, Chris Williams as Joe, and sisters Hefina Hughes and Rhiannon Hughes as Amy and Audrey, respectively. Time for the review. First, the non-spoiler review. A supermarket is preparing to hire one of 5 candidates who have applied for a position. Unfortunately, one of them wants the job more than the others and is willing to do anything to get it. I adore this film. For all of its flaws, it has a heart, and you can truly tell the crew wanted to make something special. You get a good look at what the UK was like in the 80s too, which is a trip. The world feels lived in. The actors are everyday people portraying everyday people. No glamour, no polish, just real earthlings doing the best with what they had. Between the sound quality and the accents, people may have a hard time understanding some of the dialogue. I didn't have too much trouble with that, but I can see how others might. It's a half hour long. It's cheesy. The effects aren't the greatest. The acting could use some help, but everything comes together into a charming piece of lost art that made me laugh at how awesome it was. Now, the spoiler review. What makes The Vacancy horror? Well, it's a slasher, plain and simple. There's a mass killer and there's a body count. What more do you need? Okay, Brian Davies, show us what you got. Here's a viewer discretion warning, and I love it. Creates a sense of foreboding. We open on Lipton Supermarket, and with the credits you can see the little white border on the left. Inside we can see people shopping, and I guess no one cared that they were being filmed. Nowadays you'd have to get express written permission to put someone in a film. The store is looking to fill a position. In the manager's office, 2 of the store employees discuss the candidates. It appears that Mr. Castle, the manager, is out, and when he returns he will be conducting the interviews. But someone takes the list. And the soundtrack here is killer. Meanwhile, look at this beast. Meanwhile, in a muddy trailer park, we find a camper with 2 of the applicants, sisters Amy and Audrey. They're discussing their chances of getting the position. Then they make tea.
We'll have a nice cup of tea now.
We probably didn't need to see every second of this.
And if none of us gets it, tough luck.
That's the take they went with?
Shut up and drink your tea.
And this guy gets caught shoplifting. Toilet paper. Fancy that? Head office calls. Turns out one of the people on the interview list needs to be removed because this particular person just got out of an institution. I love how they didn't say he or she to keep the mystery alive. Back to Amy and Audrey. They got a letter in the post saying they have interviews at 10:30 at night. I just think the interactions between these 2 sisters is charming. I think that's the best word to use to describe this entire production. Charming.
That's strange, isn't it? Oh, well, maybe they're doing it well after the
Line.
shop closes.
They could have done another take on that one. And look how Audrey wears makeup to bed.
Please shut up.
Whoa, and that is some day for night. If I hadn't seen the previous footage of the camper, I would have no idea what I was looking at here. Oh, whoa, what is going on? Who turned out the lights? I can't believe they didn't reshoot this or something. They want to make it look like night, but the only thing you can see is the bright sky. This was VHS 1985 though, so referee will allow it. What are we looking at here? Oh, it's a bumper. It's a bumper. The sisters arrive 5 minutes ahead of schedule and let themselves in to meet a third. Wait. These three must go to the same hairstylist. What's up with the hair? This must have been a very common hairstyle in North Wales in the mid-80s. Going back to the beginning of the film, look at these shots. Almost every woman in this film has short hair. So your three leads all have the same color and pretty much the same length of hair. You didn't want to try...
Shut up and drink your tea.
Alright, it's a good thing they have such unique faces, so it really isn't hard to tell them apart. Mr. Castle comes down to greet the women and a new man who just walked in, and we get introductions, which is good for people doing reviews like this. The odd girl out is Jenny, and the guy is Joseph. The fifth person is late, so they lose their opportunity. Then they're locked in. They go to the staff room. Castle selects Jenny as the first interview. The interview is one question. Strange. Jenny is told to go back to the staff room, but she is distracted by a noise in the stairwell. She goes to investigate and ends up in a basement storage area. She investigates... Whoa, that camera is getting intimate. Then, oh my god, was that the Halloween 2 sting? Ha ha ha, that's awesome. Nicely done with a crowbar. Oof. I'm impressed. But that blood looks like Kool-Aid. Aw, come on. It looks like she spilled her drink on her shirt. Ah, movie, if you don't have good dead body effects, don't show the dead bodies. That's frustrating. Now that looks like a night shot. Castle calls down to the break room for Joseph to be sent up. I love those old phones. Then Audrey gets cranked up about her bad premonitions again. The next interview is just as short, and after being turned down, Joseph decides to steal from the storeroom. He pockets some wine, but a sound distracts him. After investigating a little, whoops! And there's a trolley of something coming at him. He's injured and against the wall, and oh my god, are they going to do a crush body death? Are they going to do a... Oh my god, that is so ridiculous! I mean, I love a crush body death, but that might have knocked the air out of him. Oh my god, that's awesome though. Castle calls down for Audrey, and Audrey is bugging.
What is it? What's this in it?
Yeah, I don't know about that. When the actors are being natural, they're very believable if they don't sound like they're reading lines. But when they try to act, they're just not there. But I love all of these people and the effort they're putting in. And it's the same thing. She's on her way back to the staff room and a voice downstairs distracts her and she goes to investigate. Investigate has to be the worst thing to do in a horror film. Uh-oh, someone's in the walk-in. She locks them in thinking it's a trick, but she can't just leave them, so she opens and, hey, it's the girl with the Kool-Aid stain on her shirt. Oh, she walked right into him. How could she not have seen him? She couldn't see past the boundary of the screen? Okay, now he's... What? What? Those are sparklers. She's being electrocuted and they use little sparklers. Oh my god, that's so cheap and yet so brilliant. I love this movie. Now Amy is alone and goes right down to the storeroom. We start with the usual final girl stuff, finding the bodies and, hey, look at this freeloader riding that conveyor belt down. Here comes the quiet hiding scene. She finds the other two bodies, barfs in the sink. It's obviously just water from the cup that's right beside her. Oh, look, random hacksaw. Come on, guys, you could have had a scene earlier to set that up like...
Please shut up.
Now, hacksaw isn't much of a weapon for stabbing or piercing or bludgeoning. You kind of have to set this up. Let it go. She looks bored, not scared. She finds the killer. We get an elevator scene, suspenseful walking through the store scene, and there he is, and he's gonna stab her, but did he just fall over? What happened? Why didn't he take the swing? Look at him jog. He's not in any hurry. Look at him jog. Look at him jog. At least the girl looks like she's trying to get away, but he's just like doing a warm-up. Dude, those open both ways. Dude, just push through. He corners her.
Who are you thinking of?
Acting.
Who are you?
I would not be asking questions. I'd be fighting or running. But we get the reveal. It was Castle, but not Castle. It was the fifth applicant pretending to be Castle so he could eliminate the competition for the job.
And I want that job more than any of you. And I mean to get it.
Blood spray, nice. Not bad. Not bad at all. Fade to black. Then the movie ends. So that's The Vacancy. A variety of killings. Crush body, electrocution, stabbing, bludgeoning, a half hour of a decent 80s slasher with poor production value. I can't recommend this enough. Just be warned that it's low budget, but even so, someone behind the camera knew what they were doing. Okay, I'm Tom, and that was totally random.